What are the biggest advantages of having a metal roof?
That's one of the questions that we often get asked when somebody is looking into upgrading from shingles or any other type of roof into metal. And there's a few advantages. The main one is durability, right? So a metal roof is much more reliable, a lot stronger. It holds up better to hail, holds up better to any weather, any elements such as high winds, hurricanes, that type of thing. The other thing is the durability aspect of it is it lasts a lot longer than shingles does. So on average, the industry says is that a metal roof will last 4 times the life of a shingles roof. And you're only paying, on most cases, twice as much. So for twice as much of the cost of shingles, you get 4 lives of a shingle, and that's on average. It depends on the part of the country you're in.
What type of metal are the panels fabricated from?
So we buy 24 gauge metal for the hidden fastener system, which is the standing seam type roof. This is what we're installing at this job site right now, which is a hidden fastener system. Now for exposed fastener systems, because they're a structural panel, you can actually get away with a lesser of a gauge. So we use 26 gauge, 29 gauge, depending what type of system you select.
Does my roof need to be reinforced to have a metal roof installed if I previously had shingles?
So one of the important things that we always mention to our homeowners is that a reason that you have to do a tear off if you're upgrading from shingles to metal, it needs to be done mainly to ensure that you're going into a substrate that's going to last as long as the new metal roof, right? Often enough we get into a bidding war with other contractors where they offer a overlay on top of shingles claiming that it'll serve as insulation and a bunch of other nonsense. Really, you want to make sure that you do a complete tear off and that you check your substrate, your decking, to make sure that you're going into something that's going to last just as long as the metal roof.
What are the major differences between metal and shingle?
So the main differences is I would say that a lot of people would take this highly into account as aesthetics, right? In my opinion, metal roofs look a lot better than shingles. Now, granted, there are some high-end designer shingles that are beautiful colors that you can combine with the accents of your home, your paint, and it'll still look just as good as metal, but you get a lot more options in color on metal than you do with shingles. But aesthetics is not the only thing too. What keeps a metal roof looking good is the fact that it's a zero maintenance type roof. Every time it rains, it just cleans itself and it stays looking good all the time. So that's one big thing. The main thing that you're gonna see with the metal roof is that the metal roof will be a much better investment than shingles. And the reason for that is because they don't depreciate. As soon as you put on a shingle roof, it starts aging, right? There are options to coat shingles roofs. You can still coat them, but you're gonna lose that aesthetics from shingles if you put any kind of solvent on it to extend the life. Well, metal roofs, though, the advantage that you have is that they stay looking good a lot longer because they require zero maintenance, but also they can be recoated. You can repaint them at some point.
How does having a metal roof affect future roof claims?
First of all, one of the important things about having a metal roof is that you may not have the need to put a claim when the extent of the storm or the wind it's low, right? If you have hail that's minute or you have winds that are not too high, a metal roof won't even get affected, right? Because it has much higher resistance to wind and hail. So that's one thing that's gonna help you out right away. Secondly is if you do happen to have an event that actually harms the roof by getting flying objects hitting it or things like that, then you're gonna have an issue where it could be aesthetically damaged but not necessarily structurally damaged. Make sure that you do communicate with your insurance carrier if you do install a metal roof because it's important that you have the right coverage. In the event that a storm hits it and damages it, but only aesthetically, then do you want to live with a metal roof that's ugly looking for the next 30, 40, 50 years? No, you want that replaced. So make sure that your policy corresponds to the coverage, right? Make sure you have a replacement type policy.
Is there only one design or type of metal roofing?
So there are several types of metal roofing. We already mentioned that there's an exposed fastener system and a hidden fastener system. Among the exposed fasteners, you have Texas Rib, R-Panel, 5V. There's some other options that you have, but basically these require a fastener that goes through the panel onto the decking to secure the actual panels onto the substrate. And then you have the standing seam, which are hidden fastener systems. Among these, you have hidden fastener system with clip, hidden fastener systems with a built-in nail strip. And then you have a hidden fastener system with a mechanical lock. And then the last one would be a stone-coated type metal. This is a type of system that is screwed onto the roof. It's a metal that's a stamped type system, and you can mimic any other type of roof off of it. So those stamps could mimic a shake, they could mimic tile, or they can mimic even shingles.
Can I add metal accents to a shingles roof?
One of the things that we have noticed as a trend coming up in new construction is adding metal accents to homes. If you can't afford to install a metal roof throughout the entire house, one of the things that the builders are doing, they're doing metal accents to get a better curve appeal. So those are some of the things that you can do to give it a nicer look to your home, but also you save the money because in the areas that are not as visible, you can put shingles or some other type of roof.
How long does a metal roof installation take?
Well, this is a good one. A lot of people, they're used to seeing shingles roofs go up, and you can, depending on how many people you have, from one day to the next, you have a brand new roof. Well, unfortunately for metal, it's not that way. Metal is custom cut to fit every single facet of the roof. If you look back here, what we're doing, we've got some guys working on a section where you can tell that although we have these panels pre-cut to length, we still got to cut the excess that goes on the hips. We got to do the bends on the eaves, and even before we get to that point, we got to cut them down here to length. These systems come with a film that protects it from shipping and manufacturing, so that film gets peeled off the panels. So once we're ready to install them, and all these steps take a long time, right? So you're only advancing one panel at a time, and depending how cut up the house is, it could be a task in itself, right? So on average, I always tell people that a metal roof will take about 3 times as a shingles roof. That's what I say. In this case, we have this house right here. This one's an exception because we did a bunch of carpentry. We redecked the entire house. So we calculate it's gonna take us about 3 weeks to do the house, anywhere from 3 to 4 weeks. If we were doing this with shingles, we would have been done in a week and a half.